was working with this albino guy, Jesse Butler. They used to call him Spooky Butler.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah.
That was in the 70s.
Whatever happened to those cats?
He was killed.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He was a hell of a musician.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He was killed. His stepdaughter killed in Memphis. Yeah.
I'm a guitar player and a singer. I got out of high school in 1954. In 1955, I joined Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. And I traveled all over the United States with those guys. Recorded on some of the early hits. Stayed with them for about 6 years, and then I went back home to Houston. Rejoined them in 1961. Stayed with them a while. Recorded some more hit songs with them. Then I decided to quit when we got to Dallas, Texas. Went back home to Houston, flew to San Francisco, and joined the band, the house band that was backing up my favorite artist, Gatemouth Brown. We worked in the Booker T. Washington Hotel with a little trio, and that worked out fine. Then we came and got a gig in El Paso, Texas. My wife and I flew to El Paso, Texas, where I stayed about 2 years and 4 months, when my daughter, Cal Monique, was born. Left there and went to Houston. Stayed in Houston about 6 months. Then I decided that Houston was a little too small for me at the time, so I got a call to join the Jack McDuff band, taking George Benson's place. Now, George Benson was going on his own, so they needed another guitar player. I don't know who they got my phone number from, but they wanted a Texas guitar player, so that was me. I worked with him for a while. I stayed with McDuff for about 2.5 years, and we came west to Los Angeles. I decided to stay in Los Angeles because my wife wanted to stay. She didn't want to go back to Texas, and I was in love then, and I stayed with my wife in Los Angeles. And while I was in Los Angeles, I worked for Lou Rawls and H.B. Barnum, Sammy Davis Jr. I worked with Aretha Franklin on a couple of dates, Mary Wells on a few dates, and I was just going out with a lot of different entertainers on the West Coast. Run across a guy that owned Mutt and Jeff Records, and I recorded my first jazz album called Trippin' with Cal Green. Well, it almost took off. In fact, it got me a lot of work on the West Coast. Then I ended up going back on the road with Lou Rawls. Lou Rawls was just made his second comeback then, and he was pretty hot. So we were doing a lot of concerts in Ohio, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia. Came back to LA because my wife was complaining about me traveling so much. So I decided to stay again in LA. So I've been here in LA since then, which is, I came out here in 1966. And I've been here ever since. I go out with different people, but my home base has been Los Angeles since 1966. You want to ask me a question?
Who are some of the great blues or jazz artists that you played with before you came to LA, or after you came to LA? Specifically after you got in LA, who did you enjoy either just going and hearing, or?
I played with Charles Kennard, jazz organ player out of Kansas City. He's passed away now, but I played at a club called the Tiki Island with him for about 2 years straight, 6 nights a week. Since I knew H.B. Barnum and I knew some of the guys that really had their stuff together, when I was with the Midnighters, and they remembered me and they started giving me a lot of work. I did a few movie scenes too. I did a movie with that was called Bob, Carol, Ted, and Alice. I did that movie scene with, then I got a chance to meet Natalie Wood. She was in that movie. The other people who were in the movie, I got a chance to meet all these people. And everybody has been real good to me since I've been here in Los Angeles. I joined the Chuck Rowan Band. He's out of Kansas City. He came out here to live. I joined his band, and James Gadsen was playing drums with that band. James Gadsen is the guy that introduced me to this Chuck Rowan, because they're both all from Kansas City. And I played with this guy off and on for about 20 years around LA. This guy's passed away also. And I've been keeping myself busy. The music business got about 1981, it got real slow for me. So I went to a trade school and I took up maintenance mechanic. The trade school was a 6-month course, and I ended up working at an aerospace company called Teledyne Systems. I worked there for 13 years. I got an early retirement, and now I'm just doing music again. I recorded that album about 4 years ago, White Pearl. I recorded that for a company in Germany, and it's been keeping me busy. Not as busy as I'd like to be, not as making as much money as I'd like to make, but it's keeping me busy where I didn't have to take another day job. I was able to just play music, which is what I'm doing now. I just got back from doing a blues festival in Durham, North Carolina with Floyd Dixon. I knew Floyd from Houston, Texas, piano player and a singer. He had some hit records out in the 40s and 50s. He's a little bit older than me. And things have been doing pretty good. I have no complaints. I'm glad I'm a musician. And I worked with, did a show when I was in San Francisco before I went to El Paso, Texas. The band I was playing with at the Booker T. Washington Hotel was backing up my favorite artist, Gatemouth Brown. We backed him up for about 6 weeks. And from there, there's so many musicians I've come in contact with. That harmonica player, Harmonica Fats, I worked with him. I worked with Coco Taylor. I worked with Joe Turner before he died. I did a lot of stuff with him when I was with the Midnighters. He happened to be the guy that was on the show with us, sort of warm up the audience before the Midnighters come on.
I know you played on some fairly big hits yourself, played and wrote. Talk about those. I
did a lot of Motown stuff. I was at one time when I was working at the Tiki Island, and I was like a local musician in LA. By then, I did a lot of Motown recording. Stuff by Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder. Can't remember all the names of these people. Carole King. I did a lot of Motown stuff. Whoever Motown was recording, I would be the studio guitar player that would play on the tracks. And a lot of those tracks were big hits. Marvin Gaye, the Four Tops. I said Aretha Franklin already, right? You know, man, there's so many names. I have to sit down and just put on my thinking cap. And
What's the most fun you ever had on stage? In or out of LA?
When I was with the Midnighters, we had fun because we were doing things that nobody did in those days. We were grinding on stage, you know, wiggling, which was taboo in those days. What
days were there? When was that?
That was during between the year 55 and 61. We were on a show with Little Willie John. At least Little Willie John was on the show with us. The original Guitar Slim was on the show with us. Brooke Benton. I tell you one thing was when we were in Jacksonville, Florida. There's a singing group called the Pilgrim Travelers, and this guy that sang with the Pilgrim Travelers all of them happened to be staying in the same hotel we were staying. He came and knocked on Hank Ballard's door at the hotel and says, "I got a song that I'm going to give to you, Hank." He says, "I can't use it myself because we sing spiritual music." He says, "I'm going to give this song to you, and you do what you want to do with it." That song was The Twist. So Hank knocked on my door, said, "Look at this song, man. Let's see what we can do with this. Get up, Cal. Get your guitar and we'll try this out." Well, the song was kind of out of meter and some of the words had to be changed. And Hank and I changed them and we fixed it up. And when we got back to Cincinnati, we recorded The Twist. Didn't think too much of it. None of us did. But I told the guys, I says, "Look, we're talking about a dance. So why don't we just make up a dance to the song we're singing?" Midnighters didn't care too much about The Twist, but they did make up a dance because the Midnighters were known to be great dancers out of Detroit. And we made up a little dance. It wasn't the same dance that Chubby Checker came up with. It was a different dance. And when we were in Philadelphia, Uptown Theater, Chubby Checker was sitting in the dressing room. And when we come off stage after doing our first show, he was in the dressing room and he begged us, "Man, can I cover that song, The Twist?" "Yeah, you can cover it, do what you want to do. We didn't care that much about the song." Chubby Checkers covered it identical. I mean, if you heard both twists, you couldn't tell the difference because Chubby Checkers was really trying to sound like Hank Ballard, which he did a pretty good job of. The only thing is, he came out with the dance. The guy that had American Bandstand, Dick Clark, was Chubby Checker's manager at the time. Dick Clark had Chubby Checker on TV on American Bandstand doing the twist as he was singing the twist. That's what made it a big, big hit. Because the dance went along with the song. Because Hank Ballard got all the royalties for the writing of that particular song. Our faith, we had our heart set on the flip side of the twist, which was called Teardrops on Your Letter. We were crazy about that song. Henry Glover wrote it. And naturally they were pushing Teardrops on Your Letter. They was not really pushing the Midnighters hit, The Twist. Chubby Checkers pushed it. American Bandstand renamed it. And that's what made it such a big dance. I like Monteleone's. That's here in the San Fernando Valley. That's on Ventura Boulevard. I like that place. It's a classy place, and I like the owner, Tom Monteleone. And I also like Fay Dodo's because the people are so into the blues there. And they enjoy the music so much, so I enjoy that particular place. That's a club in L.A. The Cockatoo, I like that one. I like B.B. King's House of Blues. I like the House of Blues that's in Hollywood. I worked all these rooms with different people. I like Cozy's. That's the place I really like because that's my latest love, Cozy's, on Ventura Boulevard here in Sherman Oaks. The club owner is nice. The people are nice to us, and they let us knock away at the blues, and everybody enjoys it. I like to entertain people. I got some kind of thing with that. And when I see people smiling and dancing, and I can tell if they're enjoying what I'm doing, it makes me put out more because I enjoy making other people happy. That's one of my hang-ups in music. I guess I'll be playing on the bandstand until I leave here. I love playing music. It can be jazz or blues, as long as the people enjoy it. Any more questions?
How do they treat you in Europe? What do you like in Europe, and how do people treat you in Europe?
Believe it or not, the people in Europe treat the American musicians better than the people in the United States treat the American musicians. I mean, it might be a taboo thing to say, but it happens to be the truth. And if you talk to any entertainer that's been to Europe, they'll say the same thing. I guess they don't get enough of it, and they are glad to see it. And they come out in big 30, 40,000 people to see a guy perform the blues who can't draw flies here in the United States. You gotta have hit records here to really draw a big crowd. I enjoy doing the Long Beach Blues Festival. I didn't do it this year or last year. I did it 2 years ago when they had Texas musicians doing the Long Beach Blues Festival. Roy Gaines, Clarence Holloman, Joe Hughes, Gatemouth Brown. And we did a tribute to T-Bone Walker. He had already passed away. Oh, and I almost left out a guy, Johnny Copeland. Johnny Clyde Copeland. And Albert Collins. All these guys are out of Houston. We were all, believe it or not, we were all in high school together at the same time. Phyllis Wheatley High School in Houston, Texas. Including the Crusaders. Joe Sample, Stix Hooper, Wilton Felder, all the guys in the Crusaders. We were all in high school at the same time. It was a city where you didn't have too much to do but play music and go to school. So everybody patterned after Gatemouth Brown and T-Bone Walker. So a lot of us became guitar players and saxophone players. My brother and I remember when I was about 16, 17 years old, my brother and I used to get on a bus and we'd ride from one end of the bus to the turn around and playing music on the bus with a cigar box with a little hole punched in it so people could put money in the cigar box. We was known as the blues picking bus riding brothers, Clarence Green and Cal Green. That was before I left and went with the Midnighters. And my mother was a guitar player in church.
if you can.
I knew you would get around to that. The ladies were fabulous. I tell you, really spoiled me. 3 and 4 women a day. Not sleeping with all of them, just them around me every day. We were doing a lot of one-night stands, so we met a lot of ladies. The ladies was pulling our clothes off of us. They were really cool, because we were the young, new generation at that time. The Midnighters were very, very hot. The ladies, oh, so many ladies, man. And that spoiled me, because when I came to LA to try to settle down to one woman, it was very hard. It took me about 8 years to get used to just dealing with one woman. But now I'm safe from that now. I got one woman and I'm in love with her. She's in love with me. And all I gotta do now is play music and be happy. Make other people happy. Then I'm happy. Money is not as great as it was when I was with the Midnighters, but it's enough to keep me from having to rob and steal, sell dope, because I don't mess with drugs anymore. I dropped that about 30 years ago. I met so many musicians that became big stars out of Detroit when I was with the Midnighters, because they are from Detroit. And when we went to Detroit, we had guys like the Four Tops would come to my hotel room and sit up and sing to me all night. And the Five Royals out of Detroit, not the Five Royals out of Carolina, the ones out of Detroit. And I knew Marvin Gaye when he was a drummer. I knew Aretha Franklin when she was still singing in her daddy's church, Reverend Franklin's church. I knew this guy, Marv Johnson. He's the guy that put out the big, I think that was the first Motown hit ever, the very first. You don't look like a big star. You got what it takes. That was Marv Johnson, one and only hit. And then came along Mary Wells. And she had a few hits in Motown. So I just been going and going and going. Meeting up with people, and everybody's been friendly with me. Cause I'm friendly. I'm a friendly guy. I don't have a big head attitude like some people develop. I met Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, before he fought Sonny Liston for the championship. Because we were in Louisville, Kentucky, performing there. He was at the club and we talked to him. He says, "Hey man, I'm a fighter and I'm the prettiest man in the world," and blah, blah. And he took a liking to us, we took a liking to him. He told us, he says, "I'm gonna knock Liston out." "Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man." "Oh yeah, I'm gonna knock him out." He says, "When I knock him out, I want you guys to be there and we're gonna get on in the ring and perform one song." That never happened though, because we didn't even make it to the fight. We were somewhere across town, some other place.
Go ahead.
I have my bald head. I really don't care, but I'm comfortable wearing this thing now.
It's kind of like your trademark.
It's my trademark now.
Yeah. I just made you take it out because I couldn't see your eyes as well. I like your eyes. They're just smiling, happy eyes.
Oh, I take my. My friend Terry Evans is supposed to come down tonight. He said he was going to sit in with us. I get a lot of guitar players coming down, sitting in with us playing the blues. Because it's a place where you can really just stretch out, jam away. We have some pretty good musicians on the show with us. James Gadsen's on drums. Johnny Turner plays guitar and sings. He's a very good guitarist and a good singer. So we have a lot of fun here at Cozy's.
So tell me something about Cal. Either one of you guys.
Well,
What do you think of this guy?
the first time I saw Cal, he was playing with a group called Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. And they came to Kansas City, Missouri. And I went to see him at the Municipal Auditorium. And man, when I seen this cat playing, it was extraordinary. I had never heard anybody play that type of style guitar like that. And so I was just, it was a dream. I had it that came true. In later years, we got to play together with Hank Ballard and the Midnighters.
Well, I've been a fan of Carol since the 70s. I used to go around in some of the
I
places.
didn't know that, Johnny.
You did?
I didn't know you were Cal. I'm just kidding you, man.
I was a fan of his since the 70s. He was always a very fine guitar player as far as I was concerned. He inspired me really. Yeah. Inspiration. I
How'd
always.
you guys all meet? How'd you hook up? How'd you get together and playing?
Gigs.
Good. Musicians, man.
Gigs. People calling us for a job. Hey, man, I didn't know you were on this job.
The musician hotline. Musician hotline is word of mouth.
Right.
I've been hearing about Johnny Turner for a long time, but I didn't meet him until like in the 70s. I've been hearing, you ever heard about this guy, Johnny Turner, play guitar and sing from Arkansas?
I remember when you was working with this albino guy, Jesse Butler. They used to call him Spooky Butler.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah.
That was in the 70s.
Whatever happened to old Jess?
He was killed.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He was a hell of a musician.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He was killed. His stepdaughter killed him in Memphis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anything anybody want to say before we start playing? Or whatever?
Well, we gotta go up.
Make sure everybody gets their royalties from now on.
Yeah. Because that's a lot old to me.
Really?
And I want every dime.
You think you get it?
No.
That's wishful thinking.
Yeah. Wishful thinking.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
James. Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Okay.
I'm going to stay around and shoot a couple of steps.